Here we are, everyone. Going to head out to the forest and do a little bit of cornering drills. I've had a few people ask me about doing more sort of training videos, I guess, about how to tackle if you want to just get more efficient at riding your motorcycle. I don't know if I'm an expert, but I do what I can. And we'll just head on out and see what I can find, what we can do. Head off into this bit of a dirt track here. There's usually some dogs come out and try and mongrel you when you go past there, but not today. Haven't been out on the bike for a little bit, so it's actually a nice day. We're expecting a bit of a heat wave, so I thought I'd go out and do something today and not cook, or hopefully. So you can see these little water races, like where the water's been running down through the tracks. The worst thing you can possibly do is actually ride your bike on the edge of those. It'll just railway track depending on the tyres you run. Been a bit of windstorm out here, so there's a lot of trees down, like that one. Lots of trees down. It's crazy how much wind we had. So these sort of things, you pull the front wheel up and then it makes the bike, as your front wheel comes up and it touches the top of the next mount, it's like riding whoops in sand. You basically trick your suspension. That's what you're doing. Instead of letting your suspension ride up over something and effectively become a jump, it actually makes the suspension rebound at a different rate, which stops the bike kicking up at the rear. It doesn't completely stop it, but it stops it enough that you won't come off. Oh, there you go. I thought there was a track through there, but there's not. Must be up further. Oh, here. So just imagine your back, it tricks your back wheel into rolling down through the undulation in the track and then rolls out of it at a more progressive rate on the rebound. The rebound is your friend. If you've got no rebound adjustment on your suspension, it will toss you over the handlebars. The other thing I want to talk about is when you're doing corners, like I'm looking now, I can see there's a ridge over there. If I come into this corner too fast, I aim at the base of that tree where that ridge is there and use it like a motocross berm. So you'd come in and bounce off there. So now I'll go back and I'll show you what I'm talking about, because a lot of people think they have to stay on the wheel line, but sometimes the wheel line will have you on your ground. So I'll do it relatively slow just to sort of demonstrate it. So you come in, you can skid into the corner and then bounce off it. See, the bike bounces off it and throws you back onto the track. You got to look for those little ridges everywhere, because you can be just riding, adventure riding out through the forest, and you come in and, like you can see here, there's a ridge you can ride around like a berm. And like here, see these stumps, you got to be very careful of that sort of stuff, because yeah, you might be able to point your front wheel through there, but the problem is your foot pegs can hook, or your feet can, which that's not good. Tear your toes off. So we're running through here and you can see it's an easy enough track. They've got to look for all these trees down everywhere. So there's no flats, or berms to bounce off. But see, I would use that to bounce off. And here's another one of these that I was talking about. So you can go over and lay into that. Lay the bike over. And then all this stuff here, it should be like one-handable type riding, because if your suspension's set up quite well, the bike will literally track in a straight line, especially bigger adventure bikes. On my T700, it tends to track in a straight line because of the reciprocating mass of the engine. When the engine's turning, it just wants to stand the bike up straight. But these littler bikes, they just don't have that motor that's got a big chunk of mass flinging around, and they sort of can be thrown around a little bit more by the terrain. That's why it's important to get your suspension done. Been a bit of a burn off out here. If this correct, oh yeah, it does go through. And see that tree there? You can come in and bounce off that. You just got to try and get your back wheel to skid into the tree. That's the little technique you want to try and come up with. And I'll go back down here because I've done a bit of a loop. I'll go back down here and I'll show you what I'm talking about with that whoop. And imagine you've got repetitive whoops like in the sand, and I'll explain what I was talking about with the bouncing of the bike and rebound, and making the bike actually flow rather than get smacked around. So you can see where that stick is there. There's like a dip. I shall hop off and explain it. You can see the track comes along here, and say you had this wasn't an option, and you're going quite fast, and you had to go, oh, I'm going to go through here. What's going to happen when your front wheel dives into this face here is it's going to compress and then rebound at a controlled rate because it is suspension. But because your back wheel's yet to come into it, as it rebounds back, the back end compresses more than it should. So then when the bike will actually hit this face, the front will glide over, but then the back will be over compressed, and if the rebound's not set correctly, the bike will toss you through the air like that. So now I'll go back and I'll demonstrate that on the bike. And knowing that this is a underpowered bike, it's a lot harder to get that front end to come up at a bit of pace, but it is doable. Just manhandle it a little bit. Don't let the bike control you, you control the bike, sort of thing. So you just imagine you're riding through the bush, you're having a bit of fun, you know, you're going a little bit quicker than you normally would, and you're still a beginner. This is what you've got to try and do. You've got to go, so you've got to mono into it, and then try and make the bike evenly compress, so when it jumps off the other side, it actually jumps more in a flat fashion instead of a big kicked up fashion like that. And it makes it a lot safer. A lot of sticks and debris on the trail at the moment. But we'll go to another little spot, catch you in a minute. Through this track for a long time. It's an old power line, but it's sort of overgrown a fair bit to what it was. There used to be a big old hole here, but it looks like it's been filled up at some point. trail here. So jump. I watched for a few kangaroos in this bit. I had a great mob leap across in front of me about 12 months ago when I come through here, and I dare say there's more of them now. So much growth out here, all these young juvenile gum trees, eucalypts and that. It's crazy amounts. Wow, a couple of big ones fell up in there. Trees. We haven't had windstorms like we had in so long. I can't remember how long it's been since we had a storm that flattened so many trees in the forest around the town. It's pretty gnarly. There's a track going back that way. See, this is that thing I was talking about. Bounce off that. Tree down. Might go out and ride some rock ledges maybe. I think there might be a couple of little ones out here. So we've got to be a bit wary you don't come around a corner and there's a giant big gum tree in front of you. What we got here? So there's a rock ledge there, and you got to whoop, and just ride up it like that. Just that little kick at the bottom, and then a controlled throttle to roll your back wheel up and over. You don't want it spinning. That's what I was saying. Come screaming over that little crest and have that little perler in front of you. That would not be nice. I've actually done that before and it's not nice. Let's go up here. Trail going through there. A few golden orb spiders webs out there. That was a gnarly one. Actually hit me brake lever and locked me back wheel. Yeah, that's all right. All good. Thought it might have tweaked it a bit, but it hasn't. Major road here. Little siding you can go down along here, I think. Tree. And this is how you do the tree. You ignore that first stick, it'll snap and then jump. Another. I can't believe how overgrown that's got. was one of those moments I was talking about where there's a big spooned out section that I had to get the bike to leap into, so the whole lot of the suspension sunk, and you could see our bike went nice and flat.